million American men, and a new study suggests that some of the problem may be caused by smoking. Dr. David Menino, a medical epidemiologist, was lead researcher in that study, which was conducted by the National Centers for Disease Control. And this morning, he's at our NBC News Bureau in Atlanta. Dr. Menino, good to see you.
Good morning, Matt.
Briefly sum up the results of your study for me. What'd you find?
We found that overall, men who smoked reported 80% more impotence than men who were not smoking. And even after then, we adjusted for other things that are known to be associated with impotence, such as vascular disease and depression and use of various medications.
You talk about adjusting. Let's talk about that, because you dealt with Vietnam veterans, some 4,400, I believe.
Yes.
And many of them were suffering from depression and drug addiction, alcohol dependency. Wouldn't those things in themselves affect sexual performance?
Yes, they absolutely do. And what we did is that we used various statistical techniques to actually adjust for those factors. And even after that, we found that smoking was still associated with a 50% increase in reported impotence.
What was the average age of the men in your study?
These were young men. They had an average age of 38 and ranged in age from 31 to 49.
That is not the age you would normally associate with impotency, is it?
That is correct. Usually the rate of impotence does not go up dramatically until you reach men over the age of 50.
What would be some possible reasons, doctor, that cigarette smoking would affect impotency and sexual performance?
Well, as you know, cigarette smoke contains over 4,000 different substances, many of which are poisons, and many of these may actually affect the way the blood vessels react. Nicotine itself is a pharmacologic agent. It acts like a drug. We know that it's addicting, and that may affect how the nervous system responds. But based on this study, we really do not know. We are just reporting what we found.
Do you think there's a possibility, doctor, that the number might actually be higher? I mean, after all, when a man sits down with a researcher to answer questions, he might be comfortable saying, I have a drug problem, but impotency is something a lot of guys don't want to talk about.
That is very possible, and that is something we could not look at in this study, although other researchers have found that, in general, men do not lie about whether they're impotent or not.
There's a little irony here, isn't there? Because if you look at a lot of the cigarette advertising, print ads and the like, the Marlboro Man and the virility that's associated with cigarettes, apparently it could be just the opposite.
Yes, that's absolutely true. The image has been one of cigarette smoking enhancing one's sexual performance. Reality gives you bad breath, yellow teeth, and may well make men impotent.
Dr. David Menino in Atlanta this morning. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
We'll take a break in a moment. How to save some money on your income tax right after this.